Good evening and welcome to the January 15th council meeting. If you'd please stand. Councilman Hargrove is going to lead us in the pledge this evening. Thank you very much, Marc. Okay, our first presentation this evening is the National Mentoring Month, January 2019. I'd like to call up Cade Maldonado of Youth Mentoring Action Network to receive the certificate. See if I can read this. Whereas January has been designated as National Mentoring Month to focus national attention on the need for mentors, as well as how each of us, individuals, businesses, government agencies, schools, faith communities, and nonprofits can work together to increase the number of mentors to assure a brighter future for our young people. And the National Mentoring Month Public Awareness Campaign, recognized by the presidential and congressional proclamation, is led by Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership in partnership with the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and Highland Street Foundation. In 2019, Mentor celebrates 17 years of National Mentoring Month. Youth who meet regularly with their mentors are 46% less likely than their peers to start using drugs and 27% less likely to start drinking. 2/3 of adults consider it highly important for young people to have mentors, and that only 1/4 of youth have the mentors they need. Nearly 9 in 10 feel that more mentoring is needed in our community, and research shows that 44% of adults are not mentoring, but are willing to consider it, and mentoring is poised for growth. 18 to 29-year-olds are more than twice as likely to cite having had a mentor in their childhood than those over 30. And whereas the Children's Network of San Bernardino County strives to serve at-risk children by coordinating and establishing comprehensive intergovernmental and public-private programs dedicated to the county's youth, the Mentoring Resource Specialist and the Mentoring Task Force of the Children's Network leads the coordination of these existing mentoring programs and resources by sharing information and facilitating mentoring relationships between youth being served by the Department of Behavioral Health, Children and Family Services, and probation. Now, therefore, I, Eunice M. Yaloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2019 as National Mentoring Month and encourages organizations, schools, nonprofit organizations, businesses, other entities, and the citizens of San Bernardino County to engage in activities and partnerships that support mentoring with programs that promote positive outcomes such as improved self-esteem, social skills, and knowledge of career opportunities. Kate, I'd like to present this with you, and if you'd like to say a few words.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you for everybody for waiting and everything, and thank you to Mayor and the City Council of Chino. This is a really big victory, I think, for mentoring organizations in our county. We have a lot of work to do, but this is a great first step, and I hope to see you all as future mentors one day and encourage children, friends, family, loved ones to engage in mentoring in our county and to make an inland empire that works for all of us in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for being here this evening. The next presentation is the Mayor's Home Beautification Award, and it's this month, it's for Thomas and Shelley Tolliver. However, one of them works until 7 o'clock in the evening, and can't be here yet. So I'm going to suspend that item, and we'll present the award as soon as they're able to be here. Prior to the start of the council meeting, we had a closed session. I'd like to ask our attorney, Fred Galante, to please report out any actions that were taken in closed session.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council and audience. The City Council met in closed session and discussed the following items as they appear in your closed session agenda available for review. Item number 1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. The following cases were discussed: Jesse Gutierrez versus City of Chino, a workers' compensation case. City Council received an update, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. Item B, Desiree Pedroza versus additional parties versus City of Chino. City Council received an update to the status of that litigation. No reportable action was taken. Item C are the cases entitled FHL Roman numeral 2 LLC DBA Frontier Communities, with all of the relevant case numbers included on the agenda. City Council received an update to those 4 outstanding cases, and no further reportable action was taken. Item number 2, conference with legal counsel. 1 item of anticipated litigation under the heading of significant exposure to litigation. City Council was briefed on that threat of litigation, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. And finally, conference with legal counsel under item number 3, anticipated litigation under the heading initiation of litigation. Again, here, City Council received an update, and no further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report out of closed session, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. City Manager, are there any agenda additions or revisions?
Yes, Mayor. We request that item number 16, which is on the consent calendar pertaining to El Prado Road, be pulled and returned to staff. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. In our agenda this month, this meeting, we have a monthly economic development report for the month of December 2018, and I would encourage the public to access our website and read that. It has some very valuable information in it. Under public announcements, first, I'd like to make sure you come out for our New Year's Bingo Extravaganza on Friday, January 25th at the Chino Senior. I almost said Chino Center. Chino Senior Center, located at 13179 Central Avenue. Doors will open at 1:15 p.m. with up to 10 bingo games being played and the opportunity to win prizes starting at 2 p.m. Following the bingo games will be a delicious Italian dinner for all those attending the event. Tickets purchased before the event will cost $20, and those purchased at the door will cost $25. For more information, please call 909-334-3271. I'd also like to give everyone an early reminder that Saturday, February 2nd, is the 19th annual Run for Russ Memorial 5K Run and Community Walk event. The event begins at 8 a.m. at the Chino Civic Center and honors the life of Chino police officer Russ Miller, who was tragically struck and killed by a drunk driver in the line of duty on February 1st, 2000. Those interested in being part of this outstanding event can register early for a fee of $25 or $30 if registered the day of the event. For more information, please visit runforrus2019.racewire.com. Seems impossible that it was 19 years ago that he passed. Wonderful, wonderful man. Okay, next on the agenda is public comments. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the City Council about subjects that do not appear elsewhere on our agenda. Due to council policy and Brown Act requirements, action will not be taken on any issues not on the agenda. Ordinance number 97-08 of the Chino Municipal Code, section 2.04-090, limits speakers to no more than 5 minutes in which to address the council, except as provided under Government Code 54954.3B2. Our first written request to speak this evening is from Mr. Brian Pattison of Victory Baptist Church, who will be providing our invocation. And I'll invite all those who would like to participate in the with the invocation to please stand. Brian?
Most gracious Heavenly Father, I thank you for this evening, and I thank you for our city. Thank you for our city council and our mayor, and I pray that you give them wisdom and just guide our city. Thank you for it. Thank you for our country that you've given us. Think tonight of the rain around and all those burn areas, and just be with flooding, and people keep them safe tonight. Bless our officers in our city. I pray that you keep them safe and all around us. And bless this meeting. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Brian. Okay. Let's see. I'm still struggling with cataract surgery and whether I need glasses or not, so I have cheaters to use. It's very interesting. Next, I'd like to call up Melissa Campani with Supervisor Kurt Hagman's office.
Well, good evening, Madam Mayor Ulloa, council members and staff. Supervisor Hagman asked me to stop by tonight. We are looking for community input, which would include the wonderful city of Chino, for the master plan workshop of Prado Regional Park. This is going to be taking place on Wednesday, January the 30th, so it's coming up fairly soon, from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And the location will be held at the Chino Hills Community Center, 14250 Peyton Drive in Chino Hills. And it's going to be a nice event. They're going to have crafts and activities for the children, so please bring your kids. There'll be open discussions on park enhancements and activities. And they're also going to be providing refreshments. So we hope that the community will come out and please express their opinions on what would be nice to have at Prado Regional Park as they plan with the master plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. Those two are the only written requests to speak that I have this evening. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address an item that's not elsewhere on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we also have a routine here in the council, and that is any students in the audience that are attending this evening to fulfill a class requirement are invited to come up to the lectern, introduce themselves, say the school they're from, their teacher, and the class that they're taking. Do we have any students this evening in the audience? Okay, come on up.
Hi, my name is Antonio Alfaro, and this is Cannon Bounds.
Hi.
We are from Don Antonio Lugo, and we're here for our government class.
And your teacher?
Mr. Pope.
Okay, thank you very much for coming this evening. We only have 2 students this evening? Okay, boy, you guys are special. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent calendar. As noted by staff, item number 16 is being pulled and sent back. Additionally, we're going to pull items number 2 and 21 for separate vote of the council members that were present during those 2 meetings. Do any council members or audience members want to have any other items pulled? Okay, then I would entertain a motion for the balance of the consent calendar. Okay, there's a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Second from Marc Lucio. Please vote. Okay, the balance of the consent calendar passes unanimously. Item number 2 are the minutes from the December 18th, 2018 meeting. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the minutes. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Second from Mr. Lucio. Please vote. And the item passes 4-1, 1 abstention, which is Mr. Hargrove, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Item number 21 is the approval of a resolution of findings memorizing Okay.
memorializing.
That's right. The City Council's decision made at the November 20th and December 5th, 2018 regular City Council meetings, which, in regard to the adoption of Resolution Number 2018-062, memorializing the City Council's decision to deny McBride RV Storage a development impact fee reimbursement for an on-site storm detention basin. Number 2, to offer a $343,232 preserve DIF reimbursement and a $54,200 general fund reimbursement for street and frontage improvements. And number 3, to direct the city attorney to confirm if payments to McBride are subject to bankruptcy petition. I would entertain a motion.
And if I may, Madam
Yes,
Mayor,
sir.
members of the council, a few housekeeping items. So we had 2 hearings on this item, as you very well remember. What you have before you is a resolution that your staff and I worked on to try to memorialize those findings as we understood them and the items that this council commented on as being persuasive. Certainly, this council can revise or take out or add any components. But we think this reflects that directive. The other items is I know we have 2 new council members that didn't participate in that hearing. My suggestion is that you abstain from the actual vote, just because the existing members that were there have the background and participated. The additional item, and I'm happy to answer any questions about either of those. The additional item is this afternoon I received a letter from the appellant's attorney, Gerald Fisher, objecting to the proposed resolution, and he raised some issues, essentially saying that the findings are not supported by the evidence, but there is really, other than referencing evidence in the city's records or own files, there's not a lot of detail in the objection letter, but that objection letter has been requested to be part of the record. It's available for anyone to review. I think there should be extra copies. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Any comments from council members? Okay, any comments from the audience on the item? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, second from Councilman Rodriguez. Mark, you want to hit abstain? Okay, the item passes 3 yes with 2 abstentions, that being Councilman Lucio and Councilman Hargrove. Okay, next on the agenda is public hearings. Prior to a vote of the City Council, any member of the audience will have an opportunity to address the council on any items listed under public hearings. The council requests, but it's not required, that you state your name and address prior to making any remarks. Item number 23, annexation of territory into existing community facility district number 2003-3, improvement area number 5. I'd first like to open the public hearing and then ask for a report from our Director of Public Finance, Rob Burns.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. On December 5th, 2018, the City Council adopted Resolution 2018-050, declaring the City of Chino's intent to annex 2 properties located in the preserve into Improvement Area 5 for the purpose of collecting the city's services tax. The collection of these revenues will be used to fulfill the council's direction that new development within the preserve pay the cost of all services being provided. These services include maintenance of parks, open space, and public safety services, among others. Tonight's actions are to adopt the required resolutions for the annexation into the CFD, to call for a special election and immediately hold the special election, and then tally the results of that election. It is recommended that the City Council adopt the proceedings as soon to be outlined by the mayor this evening. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burns. Do have any council members have any questions for staff prior to proceeding? Any members of the public have any comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. At this time, we're ready to approve the following resolution, resolution number 2019-002, resolution of the City Council of the City of Chino authorizing the annexation of certain territory to Improvement Area 5 of Community Facilities District Number 2003-3 of the City of Chino, authorizing the levy of special taxes and calling elections therein. I'd like to call for the motion to approve the resolution. Okay, we have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, second from Councilman Rodriguez. Please vote. And that item passes unanimously. Angela, I think we do the vote right now? No,
Reading of the ballot.
the reading of the ballot. Okay, these instructions are a little hairy. It says after the vote, then read the resolution that we have just adopted authorizes the district to proceed with the annexation and calls for an election with the proposed annexation area to authorize the annexation and the levy of special taxes pursuant to the applicable rate and method of apportionment for improvement area number 5. The election is to be held at this time by the city clerk, as the district has received from all owners of taxable properties within the proposed annex area waivers as to the time for holding the election. Angela.
All ballots have been cast in connection with the election for the proposed annexation, and the election has now been closed. The results of the election were unanimous, 22 votes in favor of the proposition. Thank you.
Okay, having read the statement of the city clerk certifying the election, I'll now entertain a motion to adopt. This is getting confusing. Okay, another motion. Okay, there's a motion from Councilman Rodriguez, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. And the item passes unanimously. Okay, this concludes this public hearing. We'll now return to our second public hearing item on the agenda. Very interesting how this is written tonight. Item number 23, Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan Amendment. This item is to adopt resolution number 2019-001, approving an addendum to the Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan Amendment Environmental Impact Report and introduction of ordinance number 2019-001, PL 17-0093, Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan Amendment number 21. I'd like to declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from our city planner, Warren Morleone.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. On December 3rd, 2018, the Planning Commission approved the Yorba 2 warehouse project consisting of 2 industrial buildings totaling approximately 235,000 square feet on a little over 10 acres of land located at the southwest corner of Eucalyptus Avenue and Yorba Court. So this map shows you the location of the property. The actual buildings are in the center there, circled by that or outlined by that red line. Can you see it there? And then the architecture of the buildings look like this. So that was the project that went before the Planning Commission and received approval. In addition to approving the development of the project, the Planning Commission recommended approval to the council of a related Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan amendment to modify 2 industrial development provisions in the manufacturing land use designation in which the site is located to be more consistent with current citywide industrial standards, and to adopt an addendum to the Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan for the project. The proposed modifications to the Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan are shown in your report and strike out and underline, so you have that attachment in your report. And they include to permit wholesale storage and distribution uses by right in the M manufacturing land use district, and to change the parking requirements in the manufacturing land use district to be consistent with the standards of the industrial zones in the general city. So, As currently written, the Eucalyptus Business Park specific plan requires that a project receive approval of an administrative approval application prior to receiving approval of wholesale storage and distribution use. So the applicant has proposed the modification because the way that they worded it, it's difficult to, difficult to sell or lease the property with that regulation. In the general city, in industrial zones, that regulation doesn't occur. So what he would have to do is have the applicant apply for an application to receive approval. They would not like to do that, so they want to move forward with this application. Staff looked at it, thought it was a reasonable request based on the rest of the city and that requirement not being in place. So staff supports that modification to the Eucalyptus Business Park specific plan. And again, that would make it consistent with the rest of the city industrial zone. And that requirement is, again, it's required throughout the rest of the city. The other provision is that in the Eucalyptus Business Park specific plan, the parking requirements are more stringent than the rest of the city and industrial zones, specifically in the manufacturing sections and in the wholesale storage and distribution. So they would like to make that more consistent with the general city requirements. Again, staff has looked at it, looked at the provisions. We have not come across any issues with parking requirements based on our current code for the general city. So with this project, or with this proposal, we also support the modification to allow them to meet just general industrial standards. An addendum to the Eucalyptus Business Park specific plan has been prepared for the entire project. The analysis concludes that the project would not create any new significant impacts, so the underlying addendum, or the EIR, is determined to be staff would support. So in conclusion, staff recommends that the council adopt resolution 2019-001, adopting an addendum to the Eucalyptus Business Park specific plan, amendment environmental impact report, and then number 2, approve the introduction of the ordinance number 2019-001, adopting PL 170093, Eucalyptus Business Park specific plan. Amendment number 21, to be read by number and title only, and waive further reading of the ordinance. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Warren. Do any members of council have questions of staff or comments? Okay. Yes, Mr. Hargrove.
I just going to give a reason that I'll be abstaining is because I was on the planning commission at the time that this was recommended to the council.
Okay.
And I guess I don't want to approve my own recommendation, so.
Okay, understood. Councilman Rodriguez, did you have a comment? No? Okay. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, then we will close the public hearing. And I would like to call for a motion and a second. Motion from Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Howie, second from Councilman Lucio. And prior to reading the vote, I will ask Fred to read the ordinance.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The ordinance being considered by the City Council for approval is ordinance number 2019-001, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending the Eucalyptus Business Park specific plan to allow wholesale storage and distribution uses as permitted use as a permitted use within the manufacturing M land use designation, and to modify the off-street parking standards for properties within the manufacturing M land use designation to be consistent with the industrial off-street parking standards per chapter 20.18 of the city's zoning code, PL 17-0093, Eucalyptus Business Park Specific Plan Amendment Number 21, reading by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, and the item did pass 4 yes, 1 abstention, that being Mr. Hargrove, as reasons stated. Next item on the agenda under new business is final acceptance of public improvements, Preserve Prado Sewer Lift Station, Force Main and Gravity Line. I'll ask for a staff report from Nicholas Ligori, our Director of Development Services. Are they here? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. The sewer system for the preserve area was originally designed to divert sewage to the Inland Empire Utility Agency's Regional Plant Number 2, located on El Prado Road, north of Pine Avenue. However, due to topographical challenges and the inability to design a gravity-based sewer system, an alternate design was proposed. The Preserve Prado Sewer Lift Station, Force Main, and Gravity Line project was constructed to permanently meet the sewer demands of the preserve at build-out, as well as certain industrial sites west of Euclid Avenue. Additionally, this project is a master planned facility and is included in the city's Development Impact Fee, or DIF, program. Project is eligible for DIF credit and reimbursement per the Chino Municipal Code. Chino Development Corporation constructed the project as a condition of approval for its residential development in the preserve. The lift station and force main have been satisfactorily constructed to meet city specifications, and all punch list items have been addressed. The city engineer is reviewing the final accepted and approved as-built plans, specifications, and supporting documentation, and will determine the costs that are eligible for reimbursement. Once a final cost accounting is approved, the city will remit payment number 1 in the amount of $1,699,200. Additionally, Pacific Hydrotech Corporation, the prime contractor, shall provide to the city securities in the form of a warranty bond for a period of 3 years. Upon acceptance, the project shall become the sole exclusive property of the city to operate and maintain. Sufficient funds are included in the sewer sanitary operating budget to cover costs for operation. The Inland Empire Utilities Agency has contracted with the city to operate the lift station due to their expertise in this area. It's staff's recommendation to the council to accept the project as complete, initiate the warranty bond, and approve a priority credit/reimbursement agreement to the developer in the amount of $9,955,000. This concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Nick. Are there any members of the public that would like to address this item, even though it's not a public hearing item? Okay, seeing none. Comments from council members? Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Yeah, so basically we have a 3-year warranty that the sewer line is going to be sufficient, or?
Yes, a standard warranty period is 1 year. However, this is a very complex operation, and so a 3-year warranty is more appropriate.
And then we're on the hook
Yes.
after 3 years. Okay.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, then a motion would be appropriate. Motion from Councilman Hargrove, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Please vote. And the item passes unanimously. Okay, I'd like to suspend the agenda and go back to Mayor's Home Beautification Award. Mr. and Mrs. Tolliver have made it this evening. Oh, you're welcome. Come on over here. You had quite a drive.
I did in the rain. Thank goodness there were no accidents.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'd like to present you, Shelley and Tom, I guess your husband wasn't able to make it, of 6164 Breckenridge Court, golly whiz, with the Mayor's Home Beautification Award for January. Okay, here's a certificate. There's also a certificate from Supervisor Hagman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have a picture of your
When
home.
did you take it? Oh, you took it at Christmas.
Everything's all
Nativity,
decorated, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
tell me, who does the landscaping?
My mother, she, this is her gift, and so I wanted to dry landscape. So she collected all my plants and stuff, and I tell her, like, I want tier, I want colored rock, but she places, she plants, and it's all my mom.
Really?
Yeah, and we just did our house at the river. She came out, and the whole Christmas break we were there, and we spent 3 weeks leveling trees, all dry landscape at the river, and she did it all. She's
Can you
great.
loan your mom out?
No, I know.
No.
She's 75. She's so good. She's
Oh,
so
my
good.
gosh, she's fantastic.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, I have more. Wait.
Oh.
Okay, we have 2 city pins for
Wow.
you, the Pell
Thank
pins.
you.
We have 2 pens for you.
Hey, you guys.
I know, right? And now the best part,
I
right?
know, yes. This really is great, though.
You
It
have
really
the
is.
coveted
Yes, yes.
sign for your front yard.
Thank you, and it's going in, and it's staying.
Terrific. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm very appreciative, very
I want to
appreciative.
thank you for being here.
Thank you for holding
and
it till I
making the
could get here.
drive.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Her mom should contract out on landscaping, I'll tell you what. She did a great job. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item number 25, storm drain reimbursement to LS College Park LLC. I'd like to ask for a staff report from Chris, all right, Magdaskew. Got
Pretty
it?
close.
Close?
Very close. Magdosku.
Oh, darn it, Magdaskew,
It'll take
sorry.
about 2 years. It'll be fine.
I'll get it.
It's all right. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Happy New Year as well, and welcome new council members Lucio and Hargrove. Why are we here tonight, and what are we doing tonight? We're taking an action to recommend appropriating a little over $1 million from the storm drain fund's unappropriated reserves, which is balanced out by a year-end transfer from the storm drain diff, to move some money over to reimburse Lennar for work that SunCal did 13 years ago, actually. A little background, Line M was built in 2005. It's a public storm drain beneath eucalyptus between Fern and the Cypress Channel, about 4 to 6 foot diameter. SunCal was conditioned in Track Map 16837, which is Phase 1 of College Park, to build that storm drain. Those improvements were built to the amount of about $1.8 million, and to date they've been paid about $750,000 of that amount. Where we are at now was last year, as you may recall, we had some changes in ideology and strategy and having them move a little faster on getting additional improvements completed out there that they were behind on. I came on board 3 months ago, and we've been collaborating very effectively and fast to get additional work being done, which is the San Antonio eucalyptus signal and ramps, the bus shelters that are going to be installed soon. The rain has slowed some of that work down. With that said, I took another look at the reimbursement agreement and said, this line has been accepting public storm drain water for over 12 years. It was built by SunCal. They made some improvements. Let's move forward and get them their money and keep them ongoing with this project. So I wanted to conclude also by saying that this action that you are taking tonight does not affect the CIP for any storm drain, because this will balance out the budget at the end of the year, and we'll be fine with maintaining a unappropriated reserve amount down the road as we move forward. So I'm prepared to take any questions at this point. Thank you.
Okay, excellent report. Thank you very much. Any comments from council members or questions? Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. The item passes unanimous. Chris, I'll get your name right next time.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Next, item number 28, Development Services Inspection Service Budget Appropriation. And our staff report will be provided by our Deputy Director of Development Services, Mr. Mike Haru.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. In addition to the full-time public works staff that we currently have, the city also contracts with the KOA Corporation and Wildan Engineers to provide public works inspections for new development. Staff is requesting an additional appropriations in the amount of $170,000 as a direct result of increased building activity. The additional funds are needed to prevent an interruption of inspection schedules, which will have negative impact on the progress of development projects. The inspection fee revenue collected from the developers will recover the cost of the contractual services. So in conclusion, staff recommends the approval of an additional appropriation of $170,000 from the unappropriated reserves of the general fund for contractual public works inspection services for land development projects. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mike. Comments or questions? Okay, a motion would be appropriate, please. Motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Councilman Hargrove. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Okay, Item number 27, Design Professional Services Agreement, East Side Water Treatment Facility Expansion and Brine Disposal Pipeline Design. Staff report this evening will be provided by our Associate Engineer, Amanda Coker.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. In the early 2000s, the city anticipated significant land development in the areas known as the Preserve and College Park. To provide water service to the developing area, the city planned to produce groundwater from the underlying Chino groundwater basin. However, the water quality in that portion of the basin is poor and it requires treatment. To address the estimated water demands and water quality constraints, the city prepared a master plan which identified water supply and distribution infrastructure that would need to be built. Those master planned facilities included the Eastside Water Treatment Plant, a centralized treatment facility that was envisioned to remove contaminants from the groundwater. The first phase of the Eastside plant was completed in 2016, which included ion exchange treatment technology to remove nitrate and perchlorate. In late 2017, granular activated carbon filtration vessels were added to the treatment train to meet a new state regulation for 1,2,3-trichloropropane, also known as 1,2,3-TCP. You can see here the site plan of the Eastside facility, which includes the planned expansion. And then on the upper left-hand side, you can see what the ion exchange treatment looks like. And then on the right-hand side is the granular activated carbon filtration vessels to give you an idea of what that looks like. Staff have been tracking water demands and utilization of the facility, which has increased more quickly than anticipated. To continue to meet growing demands and to provide redundancy, staff solicited proposals to design the plant expansion from 3,500 to 7,000 gallons per minute, and to also design a brine disposal pipeline for brine waste produced through the ion exchange process, which is currently hauled off-site. And here you can see the proposed preliminary alignment, which is shown tying into the regional brine disposal pipeline located on Euclid Avenue, just south of Kimball. Staff received 3 proposals in response to the solicitation. After an evaluation and interviews, Hazen & Sawyer was selected as the highest-ranking firm. The cost proposal was negotiated down to $899,630, which is in line with staff cost estimates and is less than 10% of the budget-level construction cost estimate of $10 million. Staff recommends an appropriation of $899,630 from the Water Enterprise Fund. And just a quick clarification to the staff report, 33.9% of that amount will be transferred at year-end from the citywide Water Development Impact Fee Fund DIF, and 66.1% will be transferred at year-end from the Preserve Water DIF in accordance with the DIF program. Staff also recommends award of a professional services agreement in the amount of $899,630 to Hazen & Sawyer. We are currently investigating funding options for the construction portion of the project, including a low-interest loan through the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Are there any comments from council members on this item or members of the public?
I do.
Mr. Howie.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, this expansion is extremely important to the city. And as far as Hazen & Sawyer, have we used them before?
We have for our water quality feasibility study, and they did a great job for us.
Okay, and I see they got a good score, the highest score.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Well, I also want to compliment staff. I want to compliment Mr. Crosby and also Ms. Coker. These 2 individuals on our staff work extremely hard in the water area to ensure that our public has fresh drinking water. They're way out in front of a lot of other agencies when it comes to this kind of need. And their recommendation to bring things like this forward to us, even though it's very expensive, benefits our community. Today we spent 4.5 hours at Watermaster, Dave and Amanda and I, discussing water issues, the upcoming Optimum Basin Management Plan listening workshop. My goodness, with 8 more workshops to go. But we are extremely blessed to have such good staff working for the city of Chino, overseeing our water supply, to ensure that when you turn your faucet on, you have good quality drinking water available to you. And I want to thank you very much for all of your efforts, Amanda and Dave.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate that.
So with that, a motion would be appropriate to move this project forward. Okay, I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, second from Councilman Hargrove, and the item passes unanimously. Item number 28, professional services agreement, on-call land surveying as associated services. I'd like to call on Amber Jacker, our Director of Public Works, to provide our staff report this evening.
Mayor and council members, this item is to award a professional services agreement to Tow Hill Inc. of Rancho Cucamonga for on-call land surveying and associated services in the amount of not to exceed $100,000, and to authorize city manager to execute all the necessary documents on behalf of the city and approve up to 2 one-year extensions. City solicited proposals in August of 2018. We received 11 proposals for these services. Tow Hill Inc. Was chosen to be the best firm to provide these services. We will be using their services in conjunction with the upcoming capital improvement projects. They are on as-needed basis, so when we need them, we'll call them, and we will be charging the services to the capital improvement program itself. That concludes my staff report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So the cost may actually be a lot less than $100,000 if you don't need their services.
That is correct.
Okay. Any questions from council members? No comments? Okay, then once again, I would entertain a motion. Motion from Councilman Hargrove, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. Mr. Howie.
Didn't work the first time.
The item passes unanimously. Okay, next, under Mayor and Council reports, item number 29 is the appointment of a Mayor Pro Tem. This appointment will be for a period of 2 years, ending in December 2020. Is there a motion on a member?
I would like to motion for Tom Howie to continue as Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, there's a motion for Councilman Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Howie to continue as Mayor Pro Tem for another 2 years. I would second that motion. And there's no voting on the okay, and I'll ask for a vote. You don't have to abstain. Okay, the item passes unanimously, so congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Howie, you get to continue. Next item is item number 30, Council Committee Assignments for 2018. I spent an enormous amount of time on this particular item. I thought it was very, very important for our 2 new council members to become fully immersed in city business. So I met with each council member individually to find out their interests, their passions, and their goals for the next 2 years in particular, and then looked for continuity in our committee assignments. I also took the liberty to change some of the committees, rearrange them, so to speak, combine some of them. Some of them will be coming back to us for further consideration and perhaps changes in one of the February meetings. Looking at priorities and goals for the next 2 years, it's very clear to me that we're going to need a couple of new committees. So those will be brought forward next month. So you have your committees before you. If there isn't any objection, then I would like to ask for a motion of support. Motion from Councilman Rodriguez, second from Councilman Lucio. And the committees are assigned. And these are also one-year appointments. They'll be reviewed again in another year to see if we need to make any changes or if any council members wish to have different assignments. This last period of time from the last council meeting to today has been extremely busy for all of us, I know, so I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time going over everything that I attended during the last period. But rest assured that your council is very involved in the community, very willing to listen to any concerns that you have to bring up, so please don't hesitate to contact any of us. Please do honor the rules and regulations that we have before us in the FPPC. If you wish to contact any of us, please go through our city clerk's office or Angela Robles and set up meeting dates and times. And then also please use the city email addresses when contacting us to keep everything above board and ensure transparency. Watermaster has been extremely busy during this last period, and the importance of those issues before us are going to grow even greater. There are several agreements that are up for renewal, and again, I want to compliment Dave and Amanda for all of their work in the water area. There's just going to be a lot of activity to ensure that we always have a clean source and plentiful amount of water available. So with that, I will call on Mayor Pro Tem Howie for your report.
Thank you, Eunice. Well, first of all, I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. It's another year, and I'm sure 2019 is going to be a great year. I attended also a number of different Chino DeSalter Authority water meetings, a finance meeting and a regular meeting, and was on an interview panel to look for a new general manager for that, and that's continuing on. Also on a transportation issue, the transportation, I attended a study session there, and also a fire board meeting in the last 3 weeks. And last but not least, I attended the prison mental health facility meeting last week, of which a 50-bed mental health facility is being proposed. So we're going to keep you guys monitored on that as far as that goes in the next few months. And that concludes my comments.
Councilman Hargrove.
Okay, well, I'm exhausted. I guess I know that. It was amazing.
Be careful what you ask for, right?
Yeah. So, and then all this money I spent, I don't know how my wife gets such a thrill out of spending money like she does, and I don't feel that thrilled, and we just spent like, I don't know, a couple $1 million at least, millions of dollars, so.
Yep.
I attended quite a few functions, some with some of the council. On the 20th, I went to the Isaiah's Rock up in the Fairplex. What a phenomenal operation that is. I mean, they've got it down pat, and Chief Comstock was there, and I just had a great time out there. On the 21st, I think it was the 21st, I went over to the Chino Neighborhood House to their function. Saw the other council members there that attended, and another phenomenal function that just flows great, and just seeing the kids and the parents there and getting to eat, and especially there was one particular child there that just thought she wasn't getting a bike, and it just kept going on, and her number wasn't called, and then of course eventually they call everybody's number, but she was just thrilled when she finally got one of the last bikes that was there. And then I went on it was the 23rd, went out with the Santa sleigh. Was invited to that from the police department and the association out there. Again, I'm still waiting for something that Chino doesn't do well, you know. It's not that I hope that I find it, but another just going through neighborhoods and seeing parents push their children out of the way to try to get to Santa Claus. You know, it's amazing that people still love Santa Claus no matter what their age. So that was fantastic. And then lastly, I also attended the January 10th. I just want to assure everyone in the public and in Chino that we're going to stay on top of this mental health facility, whether it ultimately gets built there or not, and just is forced upon us. And it may be the right thing in the end that it does get built, but we're going to make sure that it's built quality It's built to secure that facility and make sure that there are no impacts to the community. I guess I can't ultimately guarantee that there'll ever be an incident, but we're going to make sure that we do our best to hold them to the fire and make sure that they do all that they're supposed to do and we expect them to do. And with that, that ends my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's fun to hear your comments, Mark, because it is different representing the city than being a member of the public and attending events.
It sure is.
Councilmember Lucio.
You know, first of all, I just want to thank the city manager, Matt. Over the weekend, I was driving through our district, and I realized that some people had dumped some furniture on the side of the road at the corner of Oaks and Schaefer. I ended up texting Matt. I sent him a picture, and he was able to get that cleaned up within a couple hours. But I just want to remind the public that if you do have furniture that you want to throw out, it is free of charge twice a year. The number is on our city website for waste management. You can call them. You call them at the beginning of the week. They'll be able to pick it up at the end of the week. So I just wanted to remind everybody that obviously don't dump your furniture on the side of the road. Just call them. They'll come and pick it up, and they're not going to charge you any additional money. Also in attendance for December, I attended the Isaiah Rock event on the 23rd. My kids and I assisted in loading up food and toys into people's cars. I'll tell you, my kids were very, very, they were moved by the event, just to be able to help out the community, see the people that were there, the excitement that people had. Even though they were young kids, I think they got a bigger thrill out of it than I did. It's definitely a great event. We were also invited to go over to Our Lady of Guadalupe Church by Councilman Rodriguez. We went over there and were there for their toy giveaway that they had. And then also later on that night, we participated in the Chino Peace Officers sleigh ride. They took my family out on the sleigh. It's the first time I'd really seen the sleigh that close. I've seen it pass by before. But it was definitely a fun event to see all the kids come out and people following the sled, waiting until we stopped, and then the amount of, and just the excitement from the kids. And I think it was really great that it was only a couple days away from Christmas. Just made it pretty special. And then we were able to go up to the north part of Chino where they have the Christmas lights, and just to see all the kids that were out there. It was just a really great event to participate in. I also, on the 10th, we went to the Chino Prison expansion meeting, and we addressed some of our concerns, not just the fact that they're trying to expand the prison, but the safety concerns. And I'm going to reiterate Councilman Hargrove's comments. We definitely, as a council, are united in that we want to ensure the safety of the community. We don't think it's a good idea to build that prison in Chino, and we're going to do our best to make sure that that if it is getting built, that all the safety precautions are in place. So that's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. I too want to compliment the members of the public that attended that meeting. Also, the comments from council members that were there, fire department. This community is very active in opposing that health crisis center that's being proposed to be built at the prison. That prison is in horrible condition. And to expend that kind of money building a brand new building when everything else is absolutely in ruins is just a shame. And we're doing everything that we can to address those issues. So I also want to assure the public that this council is united and on top of those issues. So we'll keep you informed. Councilman Rodriguez.
Well, I want to begin with wishing everyone a very prosperous year. We have a lot of positive things happening in the city, and I look forward with the council and with the community to have a very good year. I too attended many of the events as everyone else, a lot of events. I'd like to begin with December 21st. Eunice was there, Chief Comstock, with the Muslim Justice Peace West Coast Conference that was heavily attended by many cities across the West Coast. going all the way to Washington State, Oregon, and California, and also across the nation. So it was very very moving, I thought. It was very, very positive for all of us to be there. Here again, too, I crossed paths with Marc, Lucio, and Eunice, and several of us also in the community at the Isaiah Rock giveaway. I understood that we've had this event for over 20 years. Over 1,600 families were served, with over 4,000 children receiving presents and so forth. So it was very well attended. And that same day, I attended the gift giveaway at Our Lady of Guadalupe. Very nice. And then January 4th, last Friday, the monthly senior citizen birthdays. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. I'd also like to remind the public that the Planning Commission has 2 openings and that we're accepting applications. And I think the deadline closes, what date, Matt? 25th? Okay, 25th is the last day to get in your application to apply for one of those positions. Mr. Ballantyne, any report this evening?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to thank the folks down in the preserve. We kind of had our mini Carmageddon down there. It relates to closing down Pine Avenue. And a lot of our residents down in the preserve bear the burden of that. But I also want to commend the police department and our public works staff for facilitating all that. We closed it from January 4th and actually opened it up on the 13th, but it was done within time, the timeframes that were allotted. So anyway, again, thanks to the residents down there for their patience, and thanks to our staff for facilitating the circulation down there during that time. That concludes my reports.
Great. Mr. Galante, any report this evening?
Nothing to report. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Chief Comstock?
No report tonight, Mayor.
Nothing at all? Okay. Scott, anything from the fire department? See, he's coming up. He has something.
I got a Trump coming, you know. Good evening, Mayor Loa and council members. First of all, I wanted to thank the council for honoring 2 of our retirees. Rich Higgins retired after 35 years, and we also had Tom Kevitt, one of our engineers that retired after 30 years. And they came down and presented some what do you call it? Tile.
City tile.
City tile. So it was much appreciated. Just want to also remind the public that sandbags are available at the fire station. So we have the fire station 61 on Schaefer Avenue, as well as fire station 63 out in the preserve, and 67 on Riverside Avenue. And the public can come get 25 sandbags, fill them there. And this is a coordinated effort between the city and the fire district. We provide the sandbags and the city provides the sand. Along with that is just to remind, with the upcoming storm that was today, and then we're expecting even a bigger storm tomorrow night, is that turn around and don't drown is the term that you will use. Don't drive your car into a flooded area or on a flooded street. Turn around, don't go that way. We've done a really good job here in the city barricading those areas that have been hazardous in the past. So for those areas that do not drive around barricades, and of course do not drive through any flooded areas. So that's all I have this evening. Any questions that I can answer for the council, I'd be happy to.
I'm glad you brought that up, Scott, because in the past we have had several fatalities because of people driving around barricades.
Correct.
And so it's very, very good advice. Even if you think the water is shallow, please don't go through it. Go around. It's not worth risking your life.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. And the retirement of Rich and Tom, Rich has especially meant a whole lot. He just, we're going to miss him. He was,
He's off to
is such a
Texas.
great guy.
Yeah.
Yep, he's off to Texas with his 10-gallon hat, right? That was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we are adjourned to our next regular meeting, which will be held on Tuesday, February 5th at 7 o'clock, with closed session at 6 if necessary. We are adjourned.